bright and sunny or a rainy day, I can listen to Rene. Topics of the day: why sex don't match the love, our relationship sucks, why the boys play, experience immaturity, politics and currency gains, economics. Spotify it, you can find it. Sign of the times for the deaf, dumb and blind. Don't miss it. Call the number one, state your name and what's your interest. K Rene, K Rene, K Rene, K Rene, K Rene.
Hi. Good evening, everybody. What's going on? I hope you're not daydreaming in the evening time, okay? Wake up. It's your girl. It's the Conversations After Dark, and I am your host, K Rene. Welcome back, you guys, and I'm glad you could take time to join me this evening. You know, it is beautiful still this evening in Baltimore, and we have not had a lot of good weather. I mean, it's been a moment. It's been either raining, it's cloudy, it's just a whole hot mess, but we are enjoying what we can enjoy, and it is feeling like summer out tonight. So if you're out and about, great, enjoy it for me. I'm here doing my big one for y'all to do my work. Like, I come over here every Thursday to bless you at this time. Now, I had to do a time change because, you know, it's a lot going on. All right. I'm a busy lady, but I'm just glad that you guys were here and that you were able to make it. And if you, again, are new to the channel, make sure you go down to the bottom and hit the bell and subscribe so that you can be a part of this community. Okay. You got to do this for your girl. Do it. Do your big one, go down, hit the bell, subscribe, and be a part of the community over here, okay? We do not hold any hatred for anybody unless they hating on us in the dancery, okay? So listen, I just want to tell you guys, you've been really doing your support for me. I see the numbers are increasing. I see the followers, the subscribers are here, and you guys really make me feel very special. I do it for you. I do it for you. So anywho, if you did not catch the episode last week, you can always go back on the channel. It's a little bit of everything for everybody over here. Okay. We got Conversations After Dark. I have little rants that I just get into because I just have too much time on my hand during the day. And then I just be wanting to, you know, kind of spill my own tea with you and just kind of see if you're on my page. I also have a old school nostalgic type of show with my bestie that's in Seattle. It's called the Shells and Cheese Live Show. So if you didn't get a chance to watch any of those, we're on a break right now, but we will be back. And yes, honey, I did come over here in my kimono tonight because, you know, why not? Shoot, you don't mind. I hope you're comfortable. I hope you got your favorite drink and whatever else you may like to partake in, you know, on your evenings to settle down. But children, happy Pride Month. Be who you are. You remember that? So everybody, listen, let's get into this, okay? Now, I just want to let you know, I ain't going to hold you. And I know I say it all the time. And, you know, y'all be like, shit. Don't clap for me like he was excited that I wasn't going to make it long because, you know, I don't like that. Don't do me. Don't do me. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. You don't got to keep chuckling to bend yourself over backwards, but I'm not going to hold you only because of the fact I got other things I want to do. And I'm sure you want to do, you know, do your thing. But if you miss it, whatever, it's going to be here on the channel. So anywho, let's get into it. Last week, we had a really good topic in regards to, you know, the situationships of, you know, how to partake, how to do, how to not do. But we're going to take it a step up. All right. I want to talk about those exes you guys. All right. You know what I'm talking about. Once you break ties and, you try to leave on good terms, and that's any relationship, even, certain friendships, I could say, like, unless they did you completely dirty, then, sometimes there's just no more words for it. It's over. It's done. We washing our hands and then we're throwing it in the trash. But when it comes to lovers and exes, when they become that and we become that, my thing is it something to still hold a bond for? Is it something to still try to hold into? And is it something worthwhile? Should we keep the communication lines open? Should we not? So I really want to talk about that tonight. And before I get into everything that I be doing, I got to start off with my people because, without them, I would be nobody today. So let's bring us in.
Won't you tell us all about it?
Start at the beginning.
Yeah. And when you come to the end, stop.
Yeah, just stop. When you come to the end, just stop. I will. I'm going to stop when I get to the end. So, anywho, let's do this. Gotta bring my 80s porno music in, gotta get it started right. It's evening time. It's nighttime. But the sun is still out. But it's okay. Pretend it's dark. That's why I have all the stuff in the back. So you can, I block the window. So everybody, ladies, because I know you here. Should exes ever stay friends? That is the topic at hand. That's the question. Should you? And again, if you're on here, I appreciate you. And you can always comment and chat with me down in the bottom. I have some topics and within some questions I'm going to throw out there for you. And if you feel, froggy enough, answer them. If not, you can leave a comment later. I don't judge. But, I'd like to hear from you. So anywho, the opening question that I want to ask you is, can two people who once loved each other truly become just friends? Or is there always something lingering beneath the surface? And I feel honestly like there's always some type of agenda. I think depending on how it ended, how you all actually met to become an actual couple, and then within parting ways, did you live together? Did you share space? That's where we coming into as far as in regards to, is this going to be something that's possible? It may not be. And you got to really look at all of everything that comes into play with this, the ins and the outs and the odds. Why do you think people stay friends with their exes? Genuine friendship that existed before the relationship. I think that could be the situation, because I think when we're trying to really connect with people and get into relationships, we want to establish a friendship. Everybody wants to be able to feel like they're with their good friend, their best friend. Like, this is the person that you probably leave your real friends for, to be a part of their own world, your world. You're creating this bubble and you're doing a lot of things together, and you kind of, again, like I said, you're kicking your regular crew off to the side because now you have somebody that you are building something stable with. But shared history and memories, sometimes we really have to let that go and push it in the back and let it go with the relationship. Because the more that we can hold on and dwell on certain things that once worked for us, it may not be, again, what's going to continue to keep us sane up here. It may mentally disconnect us in a whole different way. And then sometimes when people are friends, they feel like there may be a chance for a second or third time to come back into this. Some people go back to exes because there's a familiar ground and they feel comfortable because they know me, I know them, I know their ins and outs, I know their trigger points. But there's a reason that you all are exes. Now, something within the fact did not work. Here we go, light. It's like, why is it looking dark? There's a reason for the split. And you have to remember what that reason is. Why are we now disconnected? What was it for? There may be children also involved. There's a family tie, and that's when it gets a little wonky. Because when your family likes your significant other, and then you are no longer apart. And then sometimes your family can be pretty messy, and they be like, where's so and so? You're not gonna invite them to the cookout. Why they not coming over to the party? We ain't together no more. I know, but y'all can still be friends. And then you got those people in the background that's still trying to push the friendship and will stay at least connected. Well, y'all left on good terms. So then you have other people in your ear trying to, put a position in or throw their little 2 cents in to make something stable, which is, it's not. And that's why y'all aren't together anymore. The stability lost within the foundation. So we not strong like we used to be. And, sometimes moms will really try to, ride for your ex-boyfriend or your ex-girlfriend because that was one they really liked. You could have went through countless 25,000 of them. And they was like, but that was the one. No, he wasn't. But one, he kept lying all the time. You don't understand the lies. I had to deal with the lies. And then when you become a detective, it's too much mental work. Because now you're like, see, now I got my receipts. Now I got to hold this so that I can do this breakup. But comfort and familiarity, this is the reason why we have to keep growing and going. We can't stay stagnant. We got to keep pushing through. And you have to honestly believe that there's somebody for everybody. And it is. I believe it is. I believe what's the situation is this. When you're no longer connected to someone, I'm sorry, but I'm going to say what I got to say. The way you get over an old person is get underneath a new one, honey. Okay? You got to find another one. And then here's the cool thing. You get to pretty much, in a way, once you heal and deal, you can start over. Because now in that midst of being with that person, you kind of learned yourself a little bit more. You know what you like to do, what you really don't like to do, what I'm not going to go for anymore, what I am not going to basically, involve myself with. And therefore, I'm going to just keep pushing forward. You go backwards, you tend to get mad at yourself because you did moonwalk backwards to the bullshit. And you're like, damn, why to do that? Now, sometimes I understand, and I got to camouflage words over here because you two will chop and dice your girl up out of here. We're going to call it tacos and hot dogs and beans. Okay, so with the food being delicious and nutritious, you're like, no, I know how they do their food over there. So I'm going to get me another hot dog, because they make the best ones. A feeling is only going to last for a certain amount of time, and then that feeling is over. And then once the feeling is gone, now how do you feel, Betty? You done brought yourself back into somebody else's bed. Remember Deborah Cox's song? We can't be friends if we can't be lovers. You remember that? That was it. That was one of them songs too. I think I was in high school when that one came out, but it still reigns true. And you have to cut that tie. Now, don't forget, when you are exchanging your energy with someone physically, sexually, you're taking in their energy. It's a recycling process. You're giving to them, they're giving to you, and then that's coming into your whole aura, ladies. It's coming into your spirit. And then you have to now try to release this because that energy can change who you are. And it kind of already did once y'all settled the intimacy contract. I got somebody in the chat. Tell them that it's human nature. Why? Hey, Miss Wilson. I think a level of a connection with an ex will always be there if spiritual, emotional ties are involved. Sometimes you just have to love a mother from the distance. Yes, ma'am. Say that from the distance. I'm telling you, true story. I was tied up on my ex. I mean, not crazy times where I'd be sitting outside the house, but it was the familiarity. It brought me back. And it would just be like we could go on a time of no talking for a whole week or so. But it could be like, hey, big head. Like one of them stupid text messages of like, what you getting into Friday? With the attitude, but it's coming off funky, but you still happy they text because you really want to be in their presence because it's familiar and it's comfortable. But let's really, again, look at the big picture. This is where we come and do our pros and cons. Is it worth the time? and the effort and the energy, or we need to just part and separate completely away. Do you think most people stay friends because they care or because they're just fully not over it? I think it's the fact of not fully being over it, where you still, again, like I said, you feel like you still have that past to get to them. But you have to really be honest with yourself and not lie to yourself, because if you're really looking at it from the outside in, you're really just trying to keep a contract for physical touch and intimacy. That's it. It's easy. You don't really trust anybody else's hot dogs and beans or tacos out here in the streets, and you like, I don't know what they like, and so I don't know if they cook good, they clean, so you like, I know this one, I know the food over here. That's so crazy. YouTube, you got to be careful, man. They took one of my shorts down, I had to redo it, but I was like, what I do? So yeah, I got to be PG-13, but you know what I mean, though. Is staying friends a sign of maturity? That's another question. I see. No, because you don't owe them nothing. You don't owe nobody nothing. You don't owe nobody nothing. You owe yourself. So no, it's not about being mature, immature. We have to, again, go back. Why are we no longer together? Others think a clean break is healthier. And I think so too. When we have a mutual understanding, we're like, okay, so does maturity mean staying connected or knowing when to let go? You got to know when to let go. You've already seen signs. You already saw the changes. You already knew this ain't gonna work. I can't go another month, week. I can't even do the year. You already starting to kind of entertain them, them people we talked about that be dropping little DMs and comments and stuff and looking for the chase and looking for the validation. See, once you already step that way, this person you land next to ain't no longer fitting the bill. And then the fact that you're now knowing, yep, let me move this train on. And when we look at how old we are, because again, I'm 46, I'm gonna be 47 this year. And you know who's mad right now at us? A lot of men. A lot of men are so mad because we're so content without them. We really have been proving for the last couple of years, ladies, we don't need y'all. If you're not bringing stuff to the tables to actually make it an even setting, if I got to do the plates, the silverware, I got to put the food on the table and you just pulling up with your chair, we're not, there's no investment here from the both. Not, well, for me, but not you. So yeah, this is why everyone is falling back. And not everyone, but for a majority of us out here fell back and have been like, you know what? If I could keep a little pocket change and I can just go get a couple hot dogs or something from somewhere I know that is very trusty dusty, I don't really got to make a connection with that because I'm still getting what I want to get. And you have the power because the ball is going to stay in your court because you're going to be able to control who's coming in and who's not going to come in to your world. Not everyone deserves access to you after a breakup. They don't. They need to be left alone. This is when we put people on block. Don't unblock. Keep the block on. Because when you don't, you still keeping the lines open for communication. So you still playing yourself. And then you still trying to see, because you're curious, are they going to call me? I know we're not together. Are we really over? Are they still thinking about me? Then if you're thinking on those lines and terms, then you should have never broke up in the first place because you still putting energy into it. If you're going to walk away, walk and keep walking. Because you don't have much within when you think at 35 or so, you mid-age, you don't got a lot more time, and knowing the way that this world is turning around, you really have to find where your content is going to lie. Does it necessarily really need to be with somebody? Does it mean we got to still be friends where I keep backtracking myself? Do I let that go and do I just move forward? We moving forward. That's what I want you to keep in mind. What happens when a new relationship enters the picture? Then you're going to still be trying to compare? Are you going to be like, they didn't used to do that? Right. That's why y'all broke up. That was what they wasn't doing. You scared of newness? Don't be scared of newness. You're going to have to be open into what is out here. Sometimes the type that we had, we have to change that up. We can't have that type anymore. We have to be open to something new. We got to be open to the extent like, yeah, for me, again, people in my age, they kind of partially sick. I mean, seriously, they got grandkids. I don't have my kids gonna be graduating, going to middle school. You know, people have little ailments now, and you're like, that's not my type. Yeah, I know, but they old though. So you might be in this boat in another year or two where you're gonna have some kind of sugar issues or having some type of ailments, and then what? And then what? You gonna flip the table around, and somebody will be looking at you and be like, ooh, that's not my type, you know. She got MS. She's dealing with chronic foot something. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. But you know what I mean? You just have to, again, be mindful to be open. And maybe that's why there was a reason you guys broke up, because see, that type ain't working for you no more. That's not your type. Your type is to be open now. Open to newness. Yeah. How much communication is too much? Is texting every day inappropriate? Is sending memes back and forth to each other inappropriate? Or are we still friends? Because we left on a clean break, you know, so we can still do that. Yeah, but it's the bait and switch. And that's what you're having to still be mindful of. No, we shouldn't be doing that. If you're going to be an ex, you're going to have to stay in the X files. You're going to have to stay in the back and go do you, and encourage this person when you are breaking up with them. Because some women won't step up to that plate. They would rather somebody break up with them first, as opposed to us taking the initiative to do it, knowing you've been suffering mentally, physically, and it hasn't been doing anything for you on the side of keeping anything positive. You've been feeling sick. You're a little now depressed. You're needing to hear certain songs to get your cries out because you got to let stuff go. You've lost communication to be open to talk to your people about what is the issue and the problem. Then yeah, there's no way to kind of pull that back to give them any type of benefit of the doubt. No. Would you introduce your ex to your current partner? Think about that. How friendly are you all? Because there's no way I'm bringing an ex around to my current partner so that my current partner can be sus about me and then that relationship. And then they're going to start questioning, why you still connected? Why y'all still friends? What's that about? Then they're going to get on their situations of being in their own thoughts. Then they're going to get insecure. Then that's going to start new issues, and that's going to start new problems. And then you got a whole nother situation. And then guess what you're going to do? You can go talk to your ex about it. Yeah, because they tripping and I don't understand, you know, and they're going to feed right in like, yeah, that's petty, you know, because for a man, ladies, they going to be a ride or die on your side, especially because the fact they trying to get back in your bed. They trying to get back to the taco stand, and you are open for it. You're open for it. You shared too much. And that's why you got to put a boundary line in between that. It's the same that if you lost communication or you're no longer friends with certain friends anymore, and if they can't step back in line, then why would you let a man do it? Why would you let a man do it who wasn't bringing what they needed to bring for you at the table? Why would you keep that open? Why would you give any more options and chances? There's an agenda behind it, and you got to be vigilant to watch out to see it and be able to pick up on it. There's patterns people show you before you actually break it completely off. And sometimes I think we stay a little too long in situations we know that don't benefit us and serve us because we still got hope for this person to change. But if they ain't did it yet, and once they show you who they are the first time, you got to believe that. I feel like you know a person, honestly, within a year of time. And I think you have to give that year of time to really honestly get to know this person. I think that's when the relationship starts, after the year, because now you know your trigger points, you know their trigger points within each other, you know patterns. We have an investment. They're talking big plans. It's involving us. If you're a parent, you have a child, they don't. Do they look like they want to be a part of your child's life? Are they inserting themselves in important places and spaces for you? That's what you have to honestly look at. And when that's not happening, then I don't understand why we're still here together. I can go to movies and dinner and everywhere else by myself, like I do. And so now this is the time, ladies, to get into your own company. You don't need the validation from an ex relationship to help you to take the training wheels off. You're grown. You've been walking by yourself in other situations. So you know how to do this again. You just have to remember how to put yourself back out there. Here's a question for you all, and I want to ask it because, again, like I said, if you don't check in now tonight, you got time. You got time. Would you be comfortable if your partner talked to their ex every week? Whoo, how would you feel about that? I am a petty Patricia. I know who that on the phone, how long you gonna be, what she need, why. That would be me. And I'm 1,000% honest. I wouldn't be able to handle that. So you shouldn't probably expect anybody else to handle that, especially when you're walking in new shoes with a new partner. I know your ex is not your emergency contact. It's got to be another relative somewhere, because see, then that raises a lot of red flags too. And see, men are watching you also, ladies. When you stepping in to play with them as a new person, they're going to be kind of asking, but not, because, they don't really talk, but so much, because they're not getting that in depth. They'll be like, well, what's your last person? Like, they don't really give a fuck. But, they will try every now and again to kind of throw something out there, which may surprise you and be like, dang, wow, okay. I know you're going to have to separate that off. If they were, then they no longer should be your emergency contact. Oh, yes, ma'am. Back in the chat, folks have to stop allowing being alone to turn into loneliness. Say that. I'll be alone all the time. And honestly, I like my alone time. It has nothing to do with the fact that I feel lonely. It's the fact of peace. It's the fact I get to reflect. It's the fact I get to know more about who I am. It's the fact I get to point out and figure out what I don't have time and patience and tolerance for anymore, and how I'm going to maneuver and move differently with the next. If there is a next, and I have to honestly be open with myself for that, if there will be a next. Because my thing is this, it may not be. And if you have to look at that too, and are you all right with that? Are you okay with that? Sometimes after so many relationships and exes, it's the burnout for me. I'm done. I'm completely checked off. Like, I don't have any more mental capacity to entertain anything else with anybody else. Just being Beyonce, me, myself, and I. And that sometimes be the coolest thing when you're out within yourself, being within yourself. You meet so many other people that honestly be in the same boat as you. Then you find new friends and you don't even know, but you got to step out of comfort zone. And I think that's the main thing that I really want to tell you in this situation of this topic. You've got to step out of comfort zone, because it don't matter how long the relationship was. It lasted as it lasted. It's over because it needed to be done. And because it's done, we don't pull trash back out the trash can. It's in the trash. It's gone. They're going to pick that up on Tuesday. Round my way, it's Tuesday. But they're going to pick that up and it's going to be gone. And you ain't going to the dump to go find it. It's trash for a reason. Then you know what else gets trash? And you know it's trash. The intimacy, the sex is trash. It's all trash. You don't even want to be there. You're like, oh, I didn't even know they was breathing like that the whole time. Ugh, I want to get up. I don't like it. I want some juice. Like you just be like, and that's when you know you checked out. So then, why would you keep that line of communication open when it was a problem? especially when they weren't even into what you liked, what you needed. How do you feel? They weren't verbal and vocal during intimacy, and you still riding it out like they gonna learn. No, they not gonna learn unless you talk to them. They don't know what they doing wrong and not doing right. That could be another issue within the reason of the X-Files of why, because there's no communication. We're not talking. Or you might feel like, damn, they only coming to check for me, while y'all is in a relationship and it's only for physical touch. But let's step out. Let's go hang out. Let's go do that. I don't got no time, tomorrow, the car tire kind of flat on one side. It's like excuse after excuse. And see, you got to catch that. My thing is third time's a charm is for me. That's the motto. 3 times, and especially if you find yourself, ladies, initiating all of every little step out, hang out, date. No, you still at the table by yourself. You still there, honey, by yourself. It's just somebody just taking up space. I can take my own space up. Red flags. Ding. Signs of next friendship may not be platonic. Constant communication. Hiding conversations from a current partner. Did you want to be in a new relationship, or are we playing a game like Jigsaw? We're not doing the games. You hiding shit, people in different files, folders. You seeking emotional support before talking to your own current partner. Red flag. You are jealous when your ex starts dating someone else. Why? Social media, fake accounts. Why? Why are we doing this? Not me, but y'all. Why? It's too much. I just want to see no, we don't need to see what nobody's doing anymore. We left them where they needed to be for a reason. It was a reason. Here's a green. Signs the friendship may actually be healthy. There's clear boundaries. Listen, this is where we are. This is where we're going to be. We can meet here. That's an outing. It's outside. Yeah, because we were friends before. So, that's cool. We can still be in that same social setting. Won't be no hate. It's all love, but love at a distance. Not like what you doing after here. I'm going to go home. That's what I'm doing. When we leave here, I'm going home. There's no flirting. It's cool, cordial. Hey, how you doing? All right. You look good. Good. Doing all right. Yeah. How's your mom? She's great. That's good. Tell her I said, hey. And we still walking. We're still walking. we're not holding on and we're not lingering. There's no secret communication, because here's the thing. You want your next relationship to work. And if you're going to be friends and have that within your ex relationship, you need to make sure you are verbal about that with your current partner, so that you can let them know, look, we started off as friends. We were always friends. We didn't even know we were going to date each other, whatever the backstory is, but let that be known from Jump Street. You got to let that be known. Mutual respect for current relationships. They understand. They're not calling at crazy hours, trying to spit to you about what's going on with their current shit. No, this ain't the time to talk. Me and whoever we locked in for the night, and to the point where you shouldn't feel like you have to turn your phone off because you're scared that they're going to call and then start messing your new stuff up. We got to have an openness here. We have to be understanding what's going on. No desire to rekindle the romance. And you know how liquor can carry us away. Wine, drinks, you start feeling away. First thing they say is affected with alcohol is your judgment and reasoning, your thinking and thought process. You thought this was a good idea to kind of hang out a little bit after the fact. You thought this was cool that I could just sleep on the couch, or vice versa. You letting them sleep on your couch. No, because, alcohol leads you to the pants off, dance off. And then you like, I ain't even do this. Yeah, because now you got regrets the next morning. So that's what we don't want to do. But is blocking an ex immature or necessary? I don't think you should have to block anybody. I think once you have a conversation and let them know what it is and what it's not going to be, shouldn't have to block nobody. Unless it gets disrespectful, you can say your piece and let it be that. And hopefully that last bit of the warning is enough. But honestly, do you think you can still love someone and know they aren't right for you? Ooh, yeah. That's when it's bad. And that's when I would tell you to start doing some channeling work and some meditation and breaking soul ties and looking more into that depth. And really, maybe sometimes that might come with a cost of having to deal with a little bit of some therapy. Because if there was a long haul, like I said, my ex and I, that was 10 years. There was an engagement there. We worked in the same building, not the same department, but the same building. We lived together for years. We saw each other every day. Even when the stuff wasn't right in the house, I still got to go back there at the end of the day and see this person. Tried it even after we separated, moved into a house, tried to do it again, didn't work out. They couldn't accept my son. So therefore, I know I can love you, but you ain't right for me because you got to date me and you got to be a part of knowing within, I'm a package deal. Me and my son come together. This is a 2-for-1. And if you can't put yourself in that position, then we really can't do it. And that's hurtful. When someone is not willing to be on the same page as you, to be accepting to every and all of you. My thing is this. I think you should have boundaries. I think if you're going to break up and let it be what it is to be, then there needs to be an open conversation in regards to what we can and what we're not going to do. I would honestly say for any breakup that you have, I would try to definitely leave it on a clean break, just because of the fact that you don't want to feel like you stepped away and stepped out and you didn't get a chance to say everything you needed to say. And then you're now trying to find a way to open the line of communication because, you have more to say. No, because then when you get a chance to kind of say more what you had to say, that's a chance to give them to spin you back around the block, Jenny. And then you're coming back and then you went backwards again. Then they got you in and then you got wrapped up in the fact I could try it again. No, we can't try again. This is the time where we don't have many tries and chances for people. When they show you who they are the first time, you have got to believe that is who they are. That is where they need to stay. Another question, have you really honestly ever gone back to an ex? I have. I have. And again, knowing that's not where I was supposed to be. But it, again, was because of familiarity and comfort. That's why. So, my thing is this. When you, again, are trying to regroup and rebuild yourself, you got to do it by yourself. You can have a support group around you to help you to get to that part and to get you back onto your track of where you need to be. But that's got to be your support team, not the ex. Every now and again with a conversation, a meetup, a hangout, a link. Nah, we're gonna leave that alone. And you know who actually gets the hurt? They do, because you're not letting them come back in. You're not gullible enough to let the door open again to which you just swept out. And you got to leave it at that. In my closing question, if someone from your past wanted a place in your future, how would they prove they belong there? What would they have to do to prove they belong in that space? What would be different they would have to do to show you I'm real now? I got the time now. I see what you needed. I can provide that. Would you be willing? Would you be willing to have a conversation and be like, then I need you to show based off of actions as opposed to telling me? Or are we done? That closing question basically is something you really need to think about. And I really want you to really think about it, especially if you have something that just recently happened, or somebody's been in your DMs again, or they've been trying to dial you from a different phone number, or they got that person in the middle that y'all are kind of mutual friends with. This is where social media gets a little messy and tricky. So just be mindful and stay vigilant. But trust and believe the best thing to do is to be honest with yourself. And when you're honest with yourself, you don't got to really honestly worry about nothing else but you. That's it. Just you. I mean, because I know I did what I needed to do. And I know you appreciate it, and I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all taking the time out tonight and, stopping by and sharing some love with your girl. Thank you for the chats. Again, making sure one more time that we are all on the same page, because we got to do what? We got to go down. We got to like the channel. We got to subscribe. We got to share it, and make sure that you're always coming back over here to join me on Thursdays, which I normally do 9. But not tonight. Not tonight, not doing 9. But like I said, check out the other things on the channel here as well. If you want to be a guest on my show, you bold enough where I can put you up here on this camera and we can kiki and chit chat on these Thursday night conversations after dark, then definitely do that. I'm going to put the description down in the description. I went to a little happy hour before I got here. I'm gonna put my email down in the description box below, so you can hit me up and let me know if you'd like to be a part of the conversations after dark, or to be a guest on the show where we can chop it up about something completely different of other topics that I like to discuss over here. So make sure, again, like I said, you do your big one, subscribe, like the channel, come back. I'm here, and you'll find your choice of tequila on this page, because, it's something for everybody. But other than that, thank you guys for being here. And I'll talk to you again later. Bye.